On today's episode of How to Catch a Predator, we learn there's nothing quite like the love between a giant intergalactic space alien man and his dog. That and more on today's episode of The Real Review, so stay tuned.
Welcome to The Real Review.
Welcome to The Real Review, sponsored by Parametric and Lazy Ape Studios, where you get some of the latest happenings, real thoughts, and perspectives in the world of film and television. I am here with Matt. That's my costume for the next film. Hey.
Hey, yeah. Oh, my God.
Was that not the worst thing?
Yes.
To me, it was. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can't elaborate now because it's spoiler territory.
Yeah, maybe we should do just the briefest spoiler talk with this one, because there's just a couple scenes in the movie.
Maybe at the end, yeah.
That I'm just like, I really want to discuss how stupid that was.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, who am I today, Matthew?
Everybody, I'm here with Joel, the space dog Cunningham.
The space dog. Wait, am I the one that cut? Oh,
it's spoiler. You can't talk about it
because that could be an insult.
Yeah, it's definitely not what you're thinking, Joel.
Okay, sounds good. Cool. Well, I was actually gonna say something bad about you, but that's fine. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm here with Matt, the walking the Joker without makeup. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. They released the first images of Joaquin Phoenix
as the Joker, but not as a Joker.
Yeah, it just looks like Joaquin Phoenix
with a weird haircut.
Yeah, with a weird hair, and you're like, oh, that's the Joker. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that could have been him from a movie or two ago. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we had some good stuff come out this week. We had the trailer for Captain Marvel I haven't seen. We had the trailer for the new Mary Poppins I haven't seen. We had lots of
magical stuff.
Magical stuff.
We got a cool new Venom poster.
Yes.
Which I think Venom looks great if you only look at its posters.
Yeah, I'm still kind of I'm not sure how the jury's still out on the Venom.
They backpedaled and now they're not being an R-rated movie anymore. It's going to be PG-13.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which is really strange because from the get-go they're like, this is going to be an R-rated superhero movie like a Deadpool, like a Logan.
Yeah.
And now they're like, just kidding.
Mass appeal.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's more like his look to me right now. I'm questioning it because he kind of somebody posted this like GIF or GIF, whatever you call it. I call them GIFs.
Skippy, Jiffy, peanut butter.
And it like his eyes turned into like googly eyes, and like the image
you can't stop looking at that.
I can't stop seeing.
I've seen
Venom
that too. I think
eyes.
he looks kind of cool actually, but whatever.
It's like mixed. Sometimes I see him and I'm like, yeah, he looks kind of goofy, and then other times I'm like, man, he looks pretty good. So I don't know. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about a film called The Predator. Before we get into that, though, just a brief breakdown of kind of how Matt and I like to do the podcast. Matt tends to have a bit more of a fun, emotional type experience with his filmings and showings that he's watching, whereas I tend to have more of a critical type edge with my perspectives. Really like to break down things that I do and I don't like and give all the reasons why. And so we put those together to give you what we think is a real thought and perspective. And we're on a journey. We're doing this.
Yeah. I bump a movie up a whole letter grade if it can get me teary-eyed.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's rare. It hasn't happened that much.
If a film gets me teary-eyed, it's usually because it's so bad. So that's the difference.
You're like, please let me escape from it. Yeah.
If I'm teary-eyed, it's usually getting bumped down a few grades. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Anyway, so
reversal.
Yes. We'd love to have you join us and be a part of this podcast and what we're doing. Matt, why don't you give our listeners some ways to get connected and watchers for the vidcast we got going on.
Yes. Y'all can get connected with us a number of different ways. First of all, being on the website, which is realreviewmedia.com. You can link with all of our social media channels. Platforms, all that stuff, which would be like facebook.com @RealReviewMedia. Same with Instagram and Twitter @RealReviewMedia. Email us at realreviewmedia@gmail.com. And let us know if there's something special that you wanted to chime in on one of the movies that we've had a chance to see or talk about, or that we haven't had a chance to see that you want us to see because you know that we're going to like it or maybe hate it, whatever. Just let us know, and that's how you can do that.
There you go. Speaking of special,
the
movie we're talking about.
Oh, gosh. Yes.
It's a good segue, Matt. I was actually going to intro this when we do our little intro thing. We talked about that. I was going to do a little bit of a
different thing.
Yeah.
We won't go there.
Go in a different direction. But let's give a synopsis for it, and then we can get into
This is The Predator, 2018.
When a young boy accidentally triggers the universe's most lethal hunters return to Earth, only a ragtag crew of ex-soldiers and a disgruntled science teacher can prevent the end of the human race. Director is Shane Black, stars a number of folks. Boyd Holbrook as Quinn, Olivia Munn as Casey, Trevent Rhodes as Williams, and then Jacob Tremblay as Rory. Those are kind of like the big ones, and you've got a side cast of people. You've got Thomas Jane.
Yvonne Strahovski was in there for a minute.
Yeah, Yvonne Strahovski was in there. Yep.
Yeah.
Jake Busey played a really funny. When he showed up, I kept wanting to be like, dude, I'm a scientist. Whoa! Like he just has that persona.
I kept thinking of him in Starship Troopers the whole time.
Yeah, I did too.
He's like, sir, why do we have to learn how to throw knives when all we have to do is push a button?
Yeah.
And then the dude throws a knife in his hand. It's great.
Yeah, there you go. Sterling K. Brown's also in there. He's kind of an antagonist of sorts. You have Augusto Aguilera, Keegan-Michael Key. Alfie Allen took a break from Game of Thrones a little bit.
He did.
Getting tortured there.
Yep.
Comes in as a former Marine. And then, does he Thomas Jane? I think it's Thomas Jane. Yep. So
TJ.
That's kind of the big cast of the movie. There's a bunch of people that needlessly are there to die.
Yep.
Matt, I'm going to let you kind of take things away.
I was excited about this movie when I heard they were doing it, and it's going to be written by one of the original guys from the original cast,
Right.
Shane Black.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar, Shane Black was one of the actors.
Yeah. And he also had a writing credit on the original Predator as well.
Right.
And he's coming back. I'm like, great, this is what this franchise has been missing, is some of that original DNA, and why the first Predator movie was just a good, fun action movie.
Yeah.
And terrifying in its right back in the day. And I think I was just really hopeful for that. And then the trailer started coming out. I was like, I don't know about this. And I was still kind of like optimistic, because that's me. That's what I do. I'm the optimistic one. I went into it. Man, I was so disappointed by this movie, Joel.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed. And it was not good. I kept trying to find things to like, but there's so many more things for me to dislike in this thing. I did not like this movie. I wish I could say I did. I wish I could say that I really, normally when I try and be optimistic about something, I'm like, yeah, there's actually some things that I really liked about. There wasn't.
Yeah.
I did not like this movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer.
I'm sorry. You definitely seem like you're a little
I'm sad.
sad about this.
Yes.
What were your experiences, and this is outside of it a bit, but what were your experiences with the original Predator? Is that a beloved sort of classic?
Yeah, so these are the kind of those,
action film?
and I know I talked about this a long time ago. Back when I was a kid, my dad and I used to watch all the like super ultra violent movies and scary movies together. Like that was our thing. Even when I was young, maybe I was too young at the time to be watching these things. But
maybe.
My dad and I we would watch the Predator. I remember my earliest remembrance of this film, the original Predator, was with him at home. So I don't think it was in a theater, but yeah, it wasn't in a theater because I would have been too young.
Yeah.
But we would just watch it. We thought it was fun, and we thought it was great. I thought it was scary but cool all at the same time. And I even like enjoyed parts of like the sequel.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Just that's my recollection of this film, of the original film. How about you? Was it
much
something
different? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, when I was a kid, I used to be really shy about watching these kinds of films that were overly violent and grotesque. And my parents, for the most part, didn't let me. So that would be also part of it. But I remember I think the first time I saw it was when I was about 17, actually.
Whoa.
It took a while. And I'd always heard of it, and I'd heard good things, but, like sometimes it's
the most iconic handshake ever.
Yeah.
They grab each other's hands and they're flexing into the camera.
Yeah. Well, I think in the back of my head at the time, and just forgive me, but I thought it was like silly, the idea. It's like, a bunch of guys go in a forest and they get killed by some alien that's in there. It just seemed kind of silly. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'd seen all like, get to the chopper.
Yeah.
I'd seen stuff like that. Ain't got time to bleed. Like, I'd seen that stuff. And it just kind of all struck me as really silly. And then I think one day I was at home. I don't remember when, but I was watching like the movie channels, and I just happened to flick to a scene. It was like close to like the beginning of it, and I just watched it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a great movie. And I was like, from then on, I'm just like, I love the Predator. And then I went and I kind of did the whole thing in quick pattern. I went and I watched Predator 2 and was immediately like, now what happened here? And then, and then since then, and I think this is unfortunate. It's been for most people this case of like, wanting something from Predator and everybody getting a little bit of that with the different projects that have come out. Like Predators that came out, in 2010 was such a weird kind of movie, but they tried to get...
But that was closer to what the
Right,
original
exactly.
Predator was than what anything else has been.
Right, they tried to get the tone and
Right.
the feel of it a little bit. And I think that was actually written by... or directed by the original director or something, or written by one of the original...
Not John McTiernan, it wasn't him.
But it was like, they called that the true spiritual successor, whereas I think Predator 2 had a lot of issues, and that's why it turned into being such a weird movie. But with each of these, and then you had all the Alien vs. Predator crud, that came out, and it was just kind of like, it's just been this constant state of like, we love this original movie, why can't we just get something that's at least embraces the original style and feel and
Right.
tone of the original Predator movie, which is very simple. It's basically just taking people and putting them in a situation where they're being hunted.
Yeah, everybody's all the remakes, they're overcomplicating this formula.
Absolutely. And they're trying to turn it... it feels like, and this is 100% what it felt like with this movie, and I want to talk about some stuff I did like, but it really felt like they're trying to absolutely 100% turn this into like a universe. There was just so many, like from the opening scene, which I can't talk about, but I was literally like, oh, they're trying to expand this into like the galaxy of the Predator and like the way that they travel through space and the social dynamic politics that happened on the Predator planet. And it's just like, we don't need that. The Predator creature was so scary because he was so unknown.
Yeah.
He was like a hostile force that came from complete parts unknown onto our planet, it'd be like coming into your home and taking the strongest and the best of the best and just completely just beating them. So I don't know. That's a kind of besides the point, but that's a thematic thing.
This is becoming to me what I feel like the Alien thing is becoming, what the Alien franchise is becoming.
It feels like they've watered it down to me to like, here are the visual style elements, like jungle elements and like, heat vision,
right.
And these like devices that, the Predator uses, and he's got this look, like the production design stuff is the same. But as far as like the story, the theme, the tone, the style, they've completely missed the mark. And that feels the exact same way with all the new Alien movies, which is crazy because it's like,
there's too much. This is immediately from the opening scene of this movie. And this is like, I was like, they're going this route. And I didn't like it because they, the thing that made the first Predator, like you said earlier, so great, part of that was you didn't know anything about this thing. It was unknown. You didn't really see a lot of it, honestly.
All it was unknown, even the alien technology on his arm, and
But from the cold open of this movie, you're just like, they're already showing me way more than I feel like we need to be looking at right now.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And it really felt like they're trying to, in a sense, expand the universe.
Yeah, and just
show the alien technology and how it works and
just
their
like,
world.
what's the point? I don't know. It was a frustrating movie. I was disappointed for sure.
I was upset with that opening when it started that way, and then they go right into a scene that I'm like, okay, well they're getting like the jungle feel,
right.
But then that was like quickly done away with, and I think they were out of the entire movie maybe 2 scenes where you really felt any sense of like tension and suspense, where it's like building like crud. Where is this Predator alien, which was such a huge pivotal part of the first film.
Right.
The whole movie was basically like, this thing could just jump out of somewhere and chop somebody's head off, and you never know. And it was disappointing. And I think the other thing, again, I want to get to some positives here, but like the thing that I struggled with was it was like a comedy.
And it wasn't a good comedy either.
No.
The humor was atrocious.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of it was not funny and very cringy at times.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? It was not good. I will give it, there was maybe about 5 to 10% of the comedy that I kind of chuckled. I was like, that's kind of funny. But but everything else was just not good.
Yeah, it was weirdly juxtaposed with like uber violence.
Yeah.
To get that R rating. So it's like you'll have like some guy crack a joke about somebody's mom, but then the next scene you'll have like some guy's guts coming out of his stomach, and you're like, what?
How am I supposed to feel about this?
Yeah, and it was just, it tonally felt a bit off. I think
I wanted to like this movie so much more.
Yeah, I will say I think I maybe liked this a little more than you did.
Probably.
Strangely.
I thought it was edited weird too. It was like cut. It was like cut scene, next scene, cut scene, next scene.
Yeah, there was big chunks of the movie that felt like were missing.
Yeah.
And there was moments where it was kind of like, now how did that get to there? Like the dog at a couple points.
At the end, like this, there's without spoiling anything, there's like two opposing forces kind of in this movie. And at the end, something happens. And within 3 seconds, they're like, hey, we're on the same team.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Why don't we? I want to give it just a little bit of spoiler talk, just like
Okay.
5 minutes or so, because I think that's going to be more just freak out stuff.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, the one thing I did like about the movie, I said I wanted to talk about some positives. There was moments where when the action really got going, that I did kind of enjoy the movie, and there were pockets of that. I wouldn't say that was throughout because there's moments of action, but I felt like because of the visceral nature of it, because of I don't know, just the interest of seeing the aliens kind of battling it out with the humans and stuff like that, I was just like, oh, okay, cool. That's like I had fun with it. You know what I mean? And I enjoyed. If I wasn't looking at this as like the original Predator movie, a sequel to that, then I would be like, okay, well, that was kind of cool seeing that alien guy chop those people's heads off, or for that sake of it, I kind of enjoyed it, and I was kind of like, okay, well, how's this person going to die, or how's that person going to die? There was just some moments where I felt like that was really effective.
The first jungle scene I liked.
Yeah,
the first one.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple, and like we can't. I don't
even really remember a lot of it, which is kind of a weird thing. That's part of the reason why it's not very memorable.
Well, the dogs were the worst fight scene, I think. The dogs didn't literally make any difference, and they were kind of pointless to the movie. I didn't really get that. But there was the fight scenes that happened closer to the end of the film, and kind of the action set pieces that had happened closer to the end of the film that I actually really enjoyed.
Okay.
Like the last quarter of the film or so. I'm not going to say it was A rank, action, but it was like good B type fare and just enjoyable.
Okay.
Where this movie really got knocked down a peg for me was the last little bit of the movie, which just the whole movie felt to me like it was screaming out like we're trying to build a universe here for the Predators and universe and and the kid felt really far-fetched. Like the kid was like a bit of a stretch already that he's this kid that, he's autistic, and I get that, or he's got Asperger's, and that's like this ability to understand things in a deeper way than most humans normally do.
Yeah.
Most people normally do, and I get that, but they were really playing that up. And it's like that also comes with a long list of other like downsides that this would not be playing out this way with this kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've worked with special kids with mental conditions and Asperger's, and it's like they can be one moment completely fine and then the next moment just completely not fine, and there was 3 or 4 moments in the film where like I'm like, this kid would not be just like, ooh, like.
And it was almost, to me, it felt like there was almost a misrepresentation of people with Asperger's.
For sure.
And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if people with this are going to feel like this is a good representation. Like,
there was a few things like that. I mean, there was a political aspect to this of like why the Predators are coming to the planet that just felt so like, what? Yeah. I was
I know exactly what
really? Like that's what you're going to do? Like there's so many better reasons that you could say like, I don't know. Like there's so many reasons why you could say that this is why they're coming to the planet, and you just choose this one political thing. And I was like, okay. There was many choices that were kind of made with this that just screamed out like, what? Like lowest common denominator stuff.
Yeah.
But overall, like, did I enjoy it at times? Like, yeah, I kind of did. What really like set it up is like, if I think of the first movie, then I'm mad because I'm like, I want to see that sequel,
right?
And I still haven't gotten that. But if I think of this as just a movie by itself, it's like it's not a great movie. Yeah. It's bad, but it's not that much worse than a lot of the other stuff that I've seen.
Right. I don't know. Maybe I just feel so let down. Like I wanted it to be really good, and I didn't connect with really any of the characters. I love Jacob Tremblay. He's one of my favorite like kid, like him and Noah Jupe as little child actors. Like I really think they're amazing.
Yeah.
And I just didn't. It's not his fault. I think the script was poorly written.
Yeah.
I didn't like anything. I love Boyd Holbrook, and I was like, I kind of cared for him a little bit, but he was kind of not a good guy,
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, ugh. I don't know. I struggled with the characters a little bit. Sterling K. Brown's character was awful.
Yeah, he had a weird tone thing going on where he's kind of trying to be this like almost maniacal, like manipulative guy, but he's like your everyday kind of version of that.
Right,
it's like weird.
Yeah,
like he's got to have his day job, but still keep the crazy under. It was kind of odd.
I don't feel like it was any of the I don't feel like it's any of the actors' faults. It was just a weird script. In my opinion.
Well, and I didn't like there's a couple characters, Olivia Munn and then also the child character,
Right.
who are kind of just suddenly comfortable with this idea of people dying all around them and killing people. And it's like, what? You've never shot a gun. You've never been trained militaristically. And suddenly now you're just like, okay, I can just shoot this gun at somebody. I can just kill them now. Like, there's a scene with a shotgun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where did that come? Like, you would have to have a sociopathic mind in order to go from like being a normal, like everyday scientist to suddenly being willing to just pick up a gun and shoot somebody at point blank range.
The humor,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so that humor. There's a scene in like an apartment room where it ends on a really weird note. That was part of the cringy note. That was like, that's weird to me. But the first half of that was kind of funny. I was chuckling a little bit with some of the interactions with.
That was cute. Yeah,
I was
funny,
like, that's kind of funny, guys.
Yeah.
That's funny. Then it went off the rails. But
yeah.
So there are moments.
There was two scenes like that. I thought the scene in the hotel room was fun and effective, although that particular aspect I was like stupid. But then also when they go to the house, and the conversation and stuff that they have inside the house, I thought was fun and effective.
Oh, man.
But yeah, there's a lot of things like that. I didn't believe that. That's really what it boils down to. I didn't believe that this kid Rory was going to be able to just like figure out all the alien technology within like not even he didn't even try. He's just like, I've got it all.
The synopsis, it says that that the kid like calls the predators down. Well, it's not really the case.
Yeah, they were coming anyway.
Yeah.
He just happened to be involved.
Yeah. Anyways,
I would have been fine with him like touching some stuff and messing with some things and like alerting the predators. But the way that he's like turning on and off devices.
Are we in spoiler now?
Let's give our review. Let's give our overall rating, and then we'll do spoiler talk here. So what are you giving?
I'm gonna give it a 65.
Okay, yeah, I'm giving it a 70.
Okay,
so C-.
I gotcha. I'm going D. Boom.
Yeah, it was more enjoyable than some of the other bad films that I've seen.
Okay.
But it was still off. So we're going to get into a little bit of spoiler talk.
Yep.
If you don't want to hear that, then go ahead and switch off the podcast or jump ahead till like the very, very end, last 10 seconds or so.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and everybody dies. Yeah, Keegan-Michael Kay, Alfie Allen. Olivia Munn doesn't, and Boyd doesn't.
Some of the CG was really good, and some of it was really bad.
Yeah,
right.
I agree with that. Did Sterling die?
They didn't see. That's part of the problem. They saw you see something happen with his character in the forest, and he like falls down, and you get a reaction from another person, but they don't ever confirm. Did he just get killed? Like,
right. I don't remember.
It was really weird
because somebody said that he had died in a review that I was watching, and I was like, I don't remember seeing that.
It was in the forest,
right? And he doesn't show up in the end of the film, so it was like somewhere. I mean. That was one of the twists of the film that I was just like, I agree with you completely. They're like, we hate each other, we're going to kill each other, and now we're best buddies.
It happened like this. Like that's where I felt like there had to have been something that was missing there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I know Olivia Munn's character had some character development stuff cut from the film because due to the sexual allegations of one of the...
Oh, yeah.
Which, because her character I guess, so... The director had hired one of his friends that was accused of sexual harassment or sexual assault or something like that.
He was
really
a registered sex offender.
There you go.
Was, yeah.
Yeah, and so his scenes got cut from the film, and I guess apparently he had some scenes with Olivia Munn that kind of set up her character differently. Because the way she's introduced in the film is like she's at a dog park, and then she's like, and now I'm the scientist girl. And it was like so abrupt.
Yeah.
And they had a scene where they showed the dogs like sniffing each other's butts for like 5 seconds, and I'm like, thanks. Like I needed that. Like that's great.
And then they lobotomize a dog.
Yeah.
Dog.
So am I that dog? Is that what you're talking about? I thought you were saying I was like a lobotomized dog.
No, I just want to say I typically my nicknames for you aren't alluding to you and who you are. I just trying to think of something that relates to the movie.
Good to know, because I thought I was being insulted. I thought I was being saying
never.
Anyway, so yeah, I didn't really like the direction that they took the overall humor in, and then the big thing that I wanted to say that I really had a problem with was the last like 5 minutes of the movie. Yeah. So suddenly now Rory is like the president of this alien technology research department. You know what I mean? Like they've never discovered that anybody else.
It's like an 8-year-old.
Right. He's like an 8-year-old, and suddenly he's like the one he's figured it all out. Like no other person. They don't have any Asperger's people or kids with autism that are like adults. They only have this one kid that's like this like 5, 6, 7-year-old. He's older than that. He's probably like 8 or 9. But
maybe
like
10,
this, like super young kid who's suddenly like the only kid that can understand this alien technology. He couldn't teach it to any adults. He couldn't do anything like that. And so they open up this case, and it's got like the alien predator killer thing.
Yeah.
it's like this outfit that comes out that's got like a bunch of different stuff on it, and I'm like, you're turning this into Marvel Cinematic Universe now, and with the humor style, it literally felt to me like they were trying to set this up as like more an adult version of a Marvel film.
Yeah, didn't work though
because
all.
the way the characters interact with each other and they make the bad jokes, and now he's got this upgrade, and he's even like, oh, that's for me. It's like basically that was my nickname. It's like, oh, that's going to be for the next movie. That's my costume.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just wasn't really sure how to take a lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
that was in the movie. So
I don't know.
Yeah,
I was just disappointed and didn't enjoy
One
it.
scene that I did actually laugh at that I thought was really funny.
Which one?
Was when they were in the forest and the random soldier dude throws the spinner thing.
Oh, and then it comes back.
Yeah.
He's like, it's gonna come back.
Yeah, Sterling's like, it's gonna come back. You gotta catch it. The guy's like, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? And just
Cuts
chops
his
his hand
hand
off. I was just like, that was the funniest thing because it's so like. It's self-aware in a sense, but it was just so out there and ridiculous that I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew that like all these characters were going to die. I was just kind of waiting. It was like, well, at least they gave them the good graces. I think there was too much going on. I really think if they just made this a much more straightforward of like this guy, Boyd, gets treated by the military badly because he sees the alien. And then they sent him out to kill him, and he has to go with this hodgepodge crew of
It should have just
Marines that nobody likes and nobody cares about to feed it. Like that would have been great.
So what would have been in my eyes is it just bypass the whole like super predator thing. Like I don't think that works.
I would have been fine with that. Even
Really? Okay.
In the context of this team of military agents going out to kill it.
Right.
And you're expecting it to just be this predator, but it turns out it's like super
that would have been that would have been the twist. So the thing
or
here,
it like injects itself and turns into the super predator. Or
right. So I think that
because they've advanced in technology and we've advanced.
If they would have set up the
sense.
characters, all the like ex-Marine people, they would have been like the Expendables that the government is sending out to Mexico, where Boyd starts the movie to kill like whatever,
right?
And then the predator shows up,
exactly,
and then they're trying to survive, like the original movie.
That would have been perfect for me.
Yeah, exactly.
And the difference would have been
then they finally take it out, but then they find that there's an 11-foot one.
Exactly, wouldn't that have been cool? Well, to me, it's like even like they show that Americans like have advanced tech. Maybe they have like infrared and they've got all this technology, and they harm it. Maybe it like kills one of them, but they're able to like stop it, and then it shows him advance in technology because the predator uses the serum, turns himself into the super predator. So it's like they've advanced technology, we've advanced, so it's like the stakes are higher.
Right.
I would have enjoyed that. I would have liked it. And it would have been much more straightforward. It wouldn't have involved all this weird stuff. You could have still had the comedy duos and all that kind of stuff. That would have just been much more straightforward, simple, streamlined. I was going to mention one other thing. I totally forgot what it was.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
I don't know what it is.
It had something to do with some of the action.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have nothing else to say about this movie. I don't know. It's just super disappointing.
It was something good. That's going to frustrate the crud out of me. Oh, well. Anyway.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. Any more spoiler type talk stuff?
Not really. Just the dog, super predator, was like a hunter, and that a first predator was technically there to save the human race.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Kind of. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I'll probably as soon as we cut here, I'm gonna remember exactly what.
Yeah, exactly.
What it was.
That's how it always works.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
What?
Thank you. Awesome. I'm thanking myself. I was so actually rooting for and hoping for, and this would have been so great at the very last 5 minutes. I thought this is the direction they were going to go in. I thought we were going to get an Arnold Schwarzenegger cameo.
Oh, wait, out of that pod?
No, but that would have been cool. But I was thinking that he was going to be like one of the people that was in the research team.
Right.
I was thinking like, because we never really find like in the last spoilers for the original Predator.
Right.
But like, they kind of just fly off and that's the end. And he's still alive, and so is the girl. So I was thinking that like maybe both of them.
Yeah,
were like part of this like top secret military research crew.
Yeah, I had a suspicion. Like I thought they would have done something, but I remember reading something that he had turned down like a cameo of some sort.
Oh, okay. So they probably
because he's working on the new Terminator reboot or whatever or something like that.
He literally could have just been in a 5-second scene where he comes, he's like, I'm here, let's get this going.
Did you get to the chopper?
Yeah, did you get there? I had the choppers out there. Did you get to them?
My Arnold is terrible.
Did you cover yourself in mud?
I thought they were going to do that again.
Yeah.
They did that cheesy line too with the motorcycles. Get to the chopper.
They did, yeah. I heard that. Yeah, it was pretty funny, yeah. But yeah,
cheesy.
that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
I was really hoping for that. Anyway, I want to go ahead and wrap things up on the podcast. Thanks again for listening. Some ways to get connected as a reminder. We have our website, realreviewmedia.com. We have our Facebook, which is facebook.com/realreviewmedia. We have our Instagram and Twitter, which are both at Real Review Media. And then we would love to hear your thoughts, perspectives, input, and ideas. Send them to us, realreviewmedia@gmail.com.
Do it.
Yes. Anything else, Matt?
No, it's it.
All right. Well, it's been real.
It's been real.